Okay. Hi. So it's what's up, everybody? It's your girl Malika, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of From the Block podcast. Okay, so today's topic is going to be about love. So I guess really just being more specific, what does a healthy relationship look like? Okay, so transparency time. Let's get honest because you guys like when I'm honest. So I actually had to face a very hard truth recently. Yeah, true story. And just being transparent, it made me face emotions that I didn't really think was in me. So betrayal is a very painful emotion, especially if you're someone like me who loves very hard and is a very genuine person. And getting hurt by a loved one is it's a different type of pain. It's a very uncomfortable feeling. So, when I talk about betrayal, I'm not even necessarily speaking in terms of like a romantic relationship because that can hurt as well, but really more so with family or like friends that you consider family. So oftentimes, right, we hear phrases like men are like buses, right? You miss one, the next one coming. Or like men would say like stupid shit like bros before hoes, like shit like that. So you grow up, right, with a certain idea of like romantic relationships that no matter which way the boat rocks, as long as you have your family, as long as you have, your people, you'll be all right because people come and go. Well, I think it's time to have a discussion because sometimes that logic can apply to family and our loved ones as well. So, after being betrayed by a loved one, I was thinking to myself the other day, what does having a healthy relationship actually look like? And I came to the very hard realization that it's very true. Love is blind. So when I see those generic Instagram reels that are like, hey, strangers are going to support you than your own family. So don't even worry about it. Or you better be careful and watch out for your loved one stabbing you in your back. Strangers are gonna have your back, not your family. And it's like, damn, I always say social media is not real. But then when there are those moments where, oh wow, that person was actually telling the truth. It sort of it gives you that like, oh damn moment, like, oh man, I guess they were actually telling the truth. So love is a very powerful feeling, and I feel like love is more powerful than anger and sadness. So when Lil Baby said overprotective, I go crazy about mine. I get it because when you deeply care about someone, you'll do anything to protect that feeling that you have, and you'll do anything to protect that person. So, just taking things a step further, right? What happens when you blindly love someone and they don't feel the same way about you? So, you would go to the ends of the earth for that person, and in all actuality, they don't care about you. They don't give a damn about you. They don't care what happens to you. And just being transparent, that can cause once you fully come to that realization, that can cause a real deep level of pain. So, what does being blindly in love look like? So, you go the extra mile and they do the bare minimum. So, you're willing to go all out for them, show them how much you love them, you tell them verbally how much you love them, and in the same sentence they don't reciprocate that energy back. So it's really like one-sided. Or right, you walk on eggshells around that person to preserve their feelings. So mind you, they can do and say whatever they want to you, they can feel comfortable, do whatever. When it comes to them, you can't tell them the truth. Like, you have to walk on eggshells because you know that if you are authentically yourself, then it's just not going to be a good situation. Or they constantly make you feel some type of way, but then when you confront them about that, they try to gaslight you and make it seem like you're crazy. Those are all signs of being, of being, blindly in love or blindly loving someone and they don't give you that same energy back. So many of us are taught at a very young age, and even like all throughout our adult life, that blood is thicker than water. So it's instilled in us, well, in many of us, to always keep the family together. So it's hard to hold people accountable because oftentimes we're taught to give them a pass. So you constantly hear multiple phrases like, you know, hey, that's still your fam at the end of the day, or, that's still your cousin at the end of the day, or, we've been through all of this. We share the same blood. You my kin. Like, you really just gonna throw it all away. So it's hard to really confront your emotions. It's hard to hold people accountable and tell them the truth and really discuss your feelings without them trying to gaslight you, or without other families trying to gaslight you and setting terms like, it's important to keep the family together. It's important to, keep family first. I'm not gonna let nothing come in between me and my other family members. So, one thing that I want you all to realize as you watch this show is that many things in life are subjective. Not all things, but many things in life are very subjective. So, one thing, right, that we hear often is the term loyalty. Oh, it's important for you to be loyal. You better be loyal. Oh my God, I hate being around disloyal people. And I'm here to tell you right here first that loyalty is very subjective. And if someone shows time and time again that they don't care about your feelings, and they do foul things to you and then act surprised when you confront them about it, and then want to start calling you things such as disloyal and ungrateful, things of that nature, then you don't have a healthy relationship with that person. Even to take it a step further, so this is my personal belief. So I'm very careful about the gifts. I'm very careful about things that I accept from people. I rarely ask people for things. Naturally, I'm a giver. Like, that's just how God made me. I love making people happy. I love giving. However, I have a very, very hard time receiving. And, you know, I am just very careful with the things that I accept from people. I've came to the realization, this is just for me personally, I'm only speaking for me, that oftentimes when people give, and when I say people, I'm using it in like a very general term, um they don't really give from their hearts. So when they give, it's really they're expecting something in return. So, I realized that a while back that people will do something nice for you and then they'll try to put it back in your face. So, and then when you decide to call them out on their behavior, they'll try to gaslight you, or they'll be like, all right, well, just give me my stuff back. See, me, I don't operate like that. Like, that's why I'm just very careful with what I accept from people. I feel like I have to like really, really like know you to accept things from you. That's just me personally how I operate. Cause I don't want nobody saying, oh, I did this for you, or like, oh, I gave this to you, and then you want to try and act funny in front of me. Like, I don't play like that. So when they try to make you feel crazy for standing up for yourself, or right, they'll do something nice for you, or they'll give you a gift, and then they'll, for some odd reason in their brain, they'll think that because they did that nice act for you, that they're allowed to talk to you crazy and they're allowed to disrespect you. So if you ever find yourself in that situation, one, oftentimes people like that will try to gaslight you, and it's just up to you to decide if you're going to stick up for yourself or if you're just going to allow them to make you feel crazy. So it's always important. That's why I always say to stick up for yourself. It's always important to, acknowledge your feelings. And if you're ever in that situation, it's just a major sign to cut ties from that person. And, after being betrayed and like, lied to and just falling out with someone that you thought that you were really cool with, I know it can be very difficult to put yourself out there again. And this can be in terms of like family. Well, I'm speaking in terms of like being betrayed by like your loved ones. But I mean, this also applies for like romantic relationships as well. But just know that you deserve to be loved and you deserve to be around people who genuinely want you to succeed. Like, you know how hard it is to find people where they don't even necessarily want anything from you. It's just The only thing that they really want is for you to do well and to succeed. Like seeing you do well, it makes them happy. And when you're, unwell, it makes them angry. It makes them sad because it's like, damn, we're all rooting for you. Come on, you can do it. I see something in you. So that's why it's so important to trust yourself enough to connect with people and find the right group for you. So if you're ever thinking to yourself, man, how am I supposed to know if someone actually loves me? How am I supposed to know if this is the right environment for me? Well, one, time, right, is the best teacher of them all. But two, it's really imperative that you pay attention to your feelings. It's really imperative that if you feel uneasy for whatever reason, listen to that feeling. Do you feel as if you're seen or heard around that person? Like when you tell them good news, are they actually excited, or do they kind of just like stay on their phones and just brush it off while you're talking? And if so, then well, time for you to move on. Do they put you in compromising situations? So by that, right, do you constantly have to make sure that they're okay? Do you constantly have to walk around eggshells? But then in the same breath, right, when we turn it around, are you constantly in a compromising situation? Are you constantly in a situation where your mental health is being challenged, your morals and your values are being challenged? You're always questioning yourself, bro, like what am I doing here? And then also too, do you feel secure when you're with them? Like do you actually feel safe? Do you feel valued? And if not, well, time for you to go. I mean, honestly, the list can really just go on and on. I will say though that although betrayal is very heartbreaking, it's not the end of the world, and I feel like it's definitely time for you. It's definitely okay. It's definitely okay for you to, one, open yourself up to the possibility of connecting with amazing people, and it's absolutely okay for you to heal. It's absolutely okay for you to take time off for yourself and to really get to know yourself, because when you know yourself, you know your boundaries, and therefore when you get into the next, community or the next friend group, or you connect with more family members that you're unaware of, or even if you want to get into a new romantic relationship, the moment that your boundaries are crossed, that's how you know. All right, hey, it's time to take a step back, or it's time to just delete that person from my life. Now, I know when it comes to family, the boundaries are, it's kind of like obsolete. Like the idea of setting boundaries with people can be very obsolete to a lot of people, to a lot of, to a lot of us. However, what I personally do, so personally, like what I do, right, when it comes to dealing with family, although although we share the same blood, I tend to look at them as just people, because I feel like people have the idea that because we're, like we're actually related, that it's hard for me to cut them off. It's hard for me to say what I want to say, because it's like, damn, this is my kin. But really, once you take that role away and you view them as people, it definitely changes the relationship. And I know I've talked about this before, like viewing your parents as people and not just, the parental role, but actually just viewing your actual family members as people. You'll learn like, okay, I think this is a really dope person, or I think this is a really bad person. Why am I talking to you? So in conclusion, right, love is a very heavy emotion, but it's also a very beautiful emotion. And I hope that you have the courage and tenacity one day to be around people who genuinely support you, who make you feel alive, and who constantly, bring out the good in you, who feel really excited when you walk into the room. So, yeah, that's my little, spiel on love. And it's okay to take time off and heal. It's okay to, you know, not want to be bothered with people for a while. Just make sure that you don't put yourself in that box to where you're just isolated, because isolation leads to many bad things and you don't want that. So, yeah, go out, heal, love, connect, and just really just identify your boundaries, because once you identify your boundaries, it makes building relationships with people a whole lot easier. Okay, well, that's it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.